Interest is waning on woke princesses at Walt Disney World, moving the Halle Bailey modern version of Ariel to a new spot that might be hard to find. And it might be hard to find Rachel Zegler anywhere near a cinema soon, as her career looks like it just might be doomed, as opposed to the headlines. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to TPP, the place to be for all of your theme park news. Vash Sky is the expert around these here parts, and Jonas J. Campbell looks mighty fine in a tie. Vash, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for having me and Jonas here to talk about a little bit of Ariel and Zegler.
Yeah, seems fishy, doesn't it? All these stories seem fishy to me.
That's right. Everybody says they want aerial shots of Walt Disney World. This is apparently not the aerial shot they're looking for.
That's right. Not Disney either. By the way, folks, click that like button. And if you see the hype button, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's hiding. But if you see hype, the time is ripe to click the hype button. All right, Vash, we've got the story on Ariel, the modern incarnation. And by the way, folks, we're not here to talk about any of the spicy stuff when it comes to, claims of, oh, you don't like this Ariel because. No. We don't. We're here to report on it. And this is out of WDW Magic. Vash, read us the article, please.
Indeed. Go ahead, go back and get you the headline. Ariel Meet and Greets relocates to Echo Lake starting October 28th at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This by WDW Magic 2 hours ago, interestingly enough, Monday, October 27th, 2025. Beginning October 28th. The meet and greet with Ariel at Walt Disney Presents experience in Disney's Hollywood Studios will be temporarily unavailable. And you can see, the version of Ariel that we were discussing here, of course, based on the 2023 version of The Little Mermaid there.
Yeah, and we think this is absolutely unfair. I'm just going to say this with total clarity to people to understand this. This is a version of Ariel who is not in any kind of iconic dress, who wears a headpiece. This has nothing to do with ethnicity, folks. We're going to tell you that Disney created an unfortunate situation of their own desire in which now kids are arguing about which Ariel they want to see. And they're moving this Ariel away. Jonas, do you know the reason they're moving this Ariel away?
Actually, no, I don't. I don't think they have any big expansions going in studios right now, do they?
Jonas, it seems to be because they reopened the classic Ariel Theater, which is right next to this museum where she was at, and they don't want to draw a comparison. But they're also not going to they don't want the headlines of getting rid of this Ariel, so they're going to stick her over on, the Echo Lake across from the 50s primetime, where literally nobody we'll go to see this poor actress. I despise every part of Disney's strategy here, Vash, and it creates this situation that we've talked about before, where kids who are totally innocent, they don't have any of these proclivities for being mean or seeing people in a stereotypical way. Kids are being put in the position of deciding which Ariel they want to see, and it's unpleasant because Disney also gave this character this reimagining. Absolutely the most drab and terrible dress, and just, it's so bad, Vash. It's so bad.
It's a single color dress. And yes, by the way, I was being sarcastic about the expansions. Someone in the comments will say I didn't know.
so Vash, you can see Ariel with her sparkly green fins and her bright red hair and the purple seashells and all that stuff. And she'll have Flounder, her cartoon friend. Or you can meet Ariel in a light blue dress where if kids didn't see that movie, they'd be like, that's Ariel? It is Disney creating its own controversy. Absolutely.
And we're not just talking about the Aquafina Scuttle right there. That's a whole other discussion right there. But no, and Disney has had this problem with their live action revisits. I remember when the original Maleficent movie came out, and they would have a Maleficent meet and greet in the parks. And people were like, hey, that's great and all, but where's the, I don't know what year that movie actually came out now that I think about it, but where's the modern version of Maleficent? Not the old one, not the classic Sleeping Beauty version, but where's the new one? And that's followed through with almost every single live action feature. This particularly is controversial for a number of reasons. And again, they did this to themselves. And, I guess for a controversial a set of events that Disney has employed here with this Little Mermaid, well, we all know about the controversies surrounding Rachel Zegler and her depiction of the classic Snow White.
Now, wait a minute,
from
Vash.
1937.
Vash, is there currently a Rachel Zegler version of Snow White in the parks anywhere?
Not at all.
Disneyland over there doesn't have one? Disney?
Nope.
Huh. Wait a minute. What about Disneyland Paris? They got to have a Rachel Zegler Snow White. They love that girl, right?
No, not a single park features the Rachel Zegler
even after the
version
London Evita performances. Jeez Louise. Well, surely she's got a big movie on the way then. That's something that's going to take her career back up after Snow White. Surely.
Yes. This is the very interesting thing here. So again, coming out of the controversy of The Little Mermaid, coming out of the controversies of Snow White, well, now Gloria Estefan apparently wants her to play. Wants Rachel Zegler, that is, to play her in a film that has not been approved, not been greenlit. It simply doesn't exist. Apparently, they might be working on something, but for all intents and purposes, it's not existent.
Jonas, after the Bruce Springsteen movie that just came out this past weekend that made less than $10 million in its opening weekend, I got to say, I bet Gloria Estefan is sure to get a biopic featuring Rachel Zegler any day now. That is absolutely what investors are going to say. Yep, we're spending on that. Let's spend on a Gloria Estefan, Rachel Zegler biopic.
What's interesting is that the primary, they would need somebody a little bit more traditionally appealing in order to have the appeal of a Gloria Estefan biopic, I would say. The funny thing is about a Bruce Springsteen biopic is the number of people I know who sing Bruce Springsteen songs matches the number of people who I have heard saying they're going to see a Bruce Springsteen biopic.
Not many, eh? Well, here's the deal, though, guys. Both of these woke princess ideas have gone away. Disney created controversy unnecessarily with The Little Mermaid. We now know, going back, that they did that intentionally, right? We've covered this. There were actually leaks out there, rumor and speculation still, I suppose, but there were leaks out there that Disney was determined to cast somebody that would draw a controversy for whatever reason. We don't have to talk about why. And then with Rachel Zegler, the same exact thing. And now both of these woke efforts that Disney did artificially, right? Artificially, these are non-organic within the company. Both of these woke efforts are being sort of sunset. And it's so bad that the Rachel Zegler version of Snow White never even appeared for a single meet and greet. Gentlemen, I think this is weird, and I think it's a sign that Disney might change strategies when it comes to Tangled. Because when they do Rapunzel, they're going to want a Rapunzel that they can put in the parks, right?
I would have to think so. I mean, Tangled is still it's not as big as Frozen, but it is still a big performer for them. We just actually saw Tokyo Disneyland out of the franchises that they chose for the expansion to Tokyo Disney Sea for Fantasy Springs. One of those was Tangled because they understand that IP certainly has a broad appeal. And so I would think that they would go with a bit more of a traditional take on that film and not, take a modernistic approach to it, right? Or maybe reimagine it like they did Cruella or Maleficent. I think they're looking for something that follows the movie a little bit closer because, I mean, if we look in the past of these live action adaptations, those are the ones that tend to do very, very well as opposed to the more riskier takes on the source material right here. For Rachel Zegler, though, and for these creative casting choices, I think they are going to be taking a little bit of tact going forward. It's very interesting about Bruce Springsteen, by the way, because that got completely blown out by Chainsaw Man, which also reveals the strength of the box office as a whole for Hollywood, but especially for Disney.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this too, Jonas, as we get ready to wrap this one up. It's not that you can't have somebody, quote unquote, of color play these characters. That's not it at all. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury is an absolute win because it's obvious the man was born to play the role. It doesn't matter if it's a different, a change of race from the comics. But Jonas, the race was on to recast these princesses as part of the neo-Marxist postmodern world and try to capitalize on what they believed to be the cultural wave. Turns out that wave didn't go so far. In fact, it went away.
I totally agree with you. It's a funny thing. The race consciousness in a very specific way. That is a relatively recent issue that Disney has decided to make out of essentially nothing. In fact, in 1994, a lot of people forget that there was a Jungle Book movie about a little Indian boy who grows up in the Bengali jungles, and his name was Mowgli, and he was played by a Chinese guy. So race consciousness on these roles is something that is a more recent invention here. And in fact, most people really like the Jason Scott Lee Jungle Book. He might not be Chinese, but you get what I'm saying here. This is the kind of thing where they make it into an issue in the way that they market these films, like Zegler coming out right off the bat and say, and by the way, I'm not bleaching my skin.
Right.
No, literally no one said that. No one except maybe a troll on the internet said that. Maybe your catty best friends asked you whether or not you'd be like, totally bleaching your skin for the raw. This is the kind of thing where Disney is in their own way more than anything else. So more power to the actress or the cast member who plays Ariel at the parks right now. I hope that you find another role within Disney parks, or maybe even something bigger and more aspirational for you. To me, this is just, okay, let's let this era of Disney confusion be gone and maybe come up with some new princesses that fulfill these check boxes that you're wanting. Don't neglect the white ones too, because hey, the little white girls want representation as well, whether or not they're calling it that. But it would be good if we can move past this grievance era of Disney as soon as possible.
Amen. Teach the kids to love everybody regardless of color. Teach the kids to find the joy and the divinity that resides in each single person. Hey, Disney, stop having decisions where mommies and daddies have to say, well, do you want the white Ariel or the black Ariel? Because ever since that started, we said, this is a sucky strategy you've done with the toys and with the stories. Ew, we don't like this at all. It's an artificial conflict created by the C-suite of Disney. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Folks, you can help us rise out of the muck and send this thing far and wide. Boost the signal by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know, did you even know about some of these meet and greets and whether or not they were happening? And folks, until the next time we have the joy, the pleasure, and the fun of spending time with you, this is TPP News, where all the news should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.